So, has he really broken through to a hidden elementer? Reino and Evla murmured to themselves. A source energy user, that's the realm above a hidden elementer. Reino and Evla had been stuck at the peak of being hidden elementers for a long time. It wasn't that they hadn't tried exploring how to reach higher heights, but Little Yi's potential guiding technique was the crystallization of countless civilizations, wisdom. How could a backward planet like Earth figure it out on its own? Today, they finally witnessed a gap even more enormous than a chasm. A massive team of thousands of superpower users and hidden elementers was nothing in front of a source energy user. Gogh, are you okay? Is using such a big move exhausting after just once? Fang Jueyu asked. Young master, rest assured, I can release this level of attack 10 times over, Gogh said confidently. He was now at the level of an intermediate source energy user, just a step away from being an advanced one. No, you're tired. Young master, I truly am not tired. Who's the young master here, you or me? Fang Jueyu said with dissatisfaction. Was this Gogh seriously such a clueless fool? Couldn't he see that this was the part where he needed to play along? Next time I say you're tired, you say you're tired, understand? Fang Jueyu said with heartfelt sincerity. Young master, I actually am a little tired, Gogh said, bewildered but beginning to play along with Fang Jueyu's act. That's better, so take a rest for now, Fang Jueyu said as he stepped before Gogh. Do you think I dared to walk into the Ladinic family just relying on Gogh alone? Fang Jueyu asked Reino and Evla. Isn't that the case? They had striven hard to estimate Fang Jueyu's power, yet there was a sky-high difference. Ah, you really know nothing about this young master's power, Fang Jueyu said, waving a finger. Do you seriously believe that the Fang family could establish itself on Earth for this long with just this bit of power? Reino and Evla were bewildered. Did the Fang family have more than they knew? Fine, let me show you just what kind of family you Ladinic family have been serving for all these years, Fang Jueyu said, reaching into his pocket. What's he pulling out? Reino and Evla stared intently at his hand. However, Fang Jueyu simply pulled out a whistle from his pocket. What kind of looks are those? Fang Jueyu said with dissatisfaction. This whistle was carved and polished from pure diamond, not your average whistle. Reino and Evla were at their wits' end. Even if it was a diamond whistle, it was still just a whistle. What did it have to do with the Fang family's legacy? Now they not only thought Fang Jueyu was a wasteful and arrogant young master, but probably a bit unhinged, doing quite inexplicable things. Beep, Fang Jueyu blew the whistle, and the deafening sound echoed across the plains near the airport. Come on out, Fang Jueyu commanded. Boom, boom. Auras just as strong as Gogh's erupted one after another. Hundreds of figures, glowing with an array of lights, descended like deities from the heavens. They were enveloped in a dazzling variety of energies as they floated in the sky, flying through the air, which was the hallmark of a source energy user. Come, let me introduce you to the Fang family's core force, 1,256 people, all of whom are source energy users. Over 1,000 source energy users. Reino and Evla's faces turned ashen. Just one source energy user like Gogh could easily flatten their entire Ladinic family, let alone such an overwhelming force. Already stunned, Fang Jueyu said expressionlessly, don't hold back, come on out. There's more. Evla and Reino suddenly sensed countless auras surrounding them. 1,000, 10,000, 100,000. They had exhausted the resources of their entire family and only had a little over 1,000 hidden elementers, 80% of whom were just at the lowest beginner level. Yet the power under Fang Jueyu's command was 100 times that. Moreover, every hidden elementer's aura, even beginner ones, exuded a terrifying prestige beyond even their family's intermediate hidden elementers. In the same realm, the hidden elementers cultivated by the Fang family were absolutely 10 times as strong. Ha ha ha, Reino suddenly laughed, though his expression showed a different facade. He thought that after hundreds of years of heritage, the Ladinic family should at least be able to see the Fang family's back if not match them. However, he now realized how naive he had been. To destroy the entire Ladinic family, they only needed one person. However, the Fang family had once helped the Ladinic family thrive. They could just as easily bring its downfall. No wonder their ancestors had passed down the lesson to always regard the Fang family with reverence, yet it was the most neglected teaching. Slap, he fell to his knees powerlessly. They had failed utterly. All right, collect your aura, don't scare him to death, Fang Jueyu said blandly. He walked up to Reino and Evla. Under the protection of 10,000 hidden elementers and over 1,000 source energy users, there was no way they could harm a hair on Fang Jueyu. To be honest, I don't care about your Ladinic family at all. If I wanted, I could support a stronger family at any moment, Fang Jueyu said. If you maintain absolute loyalty to the Fang family, you can stay on top of the world at least besides me. I hate betrayal the most. By all rights, I shouldn't let you two live, but your father Ipal asked me to spare your lives. Fang Jueyu sighed. He's a very loyal man. Out of respect for him, I won't kill you, but I want you to know the Fang family will always be your master, and mistakes come with punishments. Gogh, Fang Jueyu called. You know what to do. Yes, young master. Gogh glanced at the two, and suddenly scorching flames swept across their chests, causing Reino and Evla to spew blood and be hurled backward. Young master, I have removed all the energy from their bodies and left something behind. From now on, they will feel excruciating pain like burning once a month until they have complete loyalty to you. Sister Xiao Ying, help me handle the aftermath here. Restructure the Ladinic family properly, then put Mok in charge. Fang Jueyu believed this incident today would awaken more than just this family. Okay, young master, leave it to me. Having witnessed it all, Zhuang Ying regained her composure. She now realized her understanding of the Fang family was truly superficial. Fang Jueyu looked up at the sky. We've been in Europe long enough. It's time to return to Huaxia. What? The Ladinic family went after the Fang family's young master. On the same day, the Zhuang family responsible for Huaxia's industry, the Sun family handling industries in Asia except Huaxia, the Mario family in South America, the Lorfis family in North America, the Raharder family in Oceania, and the Inuit family in the Arctic continent all received this news. People are always blinded by greed. In truth, it's not just the Ladinic family. More or less, there are some people in other families with similar thoughts. They just hide it well or are waiting for the right opportunity. But this incident undoubtedly shattered the last bit of disloyalty in their hearts. The outside world didn't know what happened within the Ladinic family, but the 6 major families received very specific information. Fang family's young master, Fang Jueyu, effortlessly summoned a hidden elementar army of 10,000, with even over 1,000 people surpassing this level. To overthrow these families, it only took 7 people. From now on, no one in the family should ever harbor disloyalty again. The entire family will serve the Fang family for generations. Everything belonging to the family is the Fang family's. If anyone suggests leaving the Fang family wishing for independence, they will be dealt with by family rules. Every clan leader re-emphasized the most crucial ancestral instruction, understanding clearly that if they did something similar, the Ladinic family would be their best example. Zhuang Ying continued staying with the Ladinic family to handle follow-up matters, while Fang Jueyu immediately flew back to the Saluo Kingdom on a plane provided by the Ladinic family. He attended the ZZ team's celebration banquet with Wang Kong and others, then handed over the analyzed data of their finals competitor from Xiao Yi to them. The next day, he returned to Huaxia with everyone. Phew, the air in my homeland is still the best. After breathing capitalism's rotten air for a month, Fang Jueyu felt he almost forgot what it was like to enjoy being a Huaxia person. This European trip indeed encountered quite a few incidents, some thrilling, some satisfying. Compared to that, his previous 20 years seemed utterly dull. Fang Jueyu, over here, walking out of the airport in the crowd, a light blue-clad girl waved excitedly at him. Guo Xinyu knew about his return today and had been waiting here for him for a while. Young master, I won't disturb you anymore. Guo reared a smile and then disappeared behind Fang Jueyu. He, Fang Jueyu pulled Guo Xinyu into his arms. I've been away for so long, did you miss me? Mum, Guo Xinyu nodded her head like a pecking chick, burying it in Fang Juyu's chest. Tell me, did you have so much fun in Europe that you forgot to come back? Guo Xinyu glared at Fang Jueyu threateningly, as if she would devour him if he dared to nod. I wouldn't dare, Fang Jueyu laughed. During this time I resisted the temptations of Princess Silid of England, Hashimoto Kanako of the Sun Country, and Scarlet one after another. I didn't even touch them. Do you know what a gentleman is? It's me. Look at you being cheeky, Guo Xinyu laughed and scolded. I can't help it, I gave up a forest for a big tree like you. Fang Jueyu grinned mischievously and then scooped Guo Xinyu up into the car. Over the months, Fang Jueyu's identity and mindset underwent a slow transformation, but he seemed to forget he had another crucial identity: student. Although there weren't many classes in his senior year, besides finishing the graduation thesis, the summer before senior year required students to participate in a 2-month internship to earn those practice credits. However, during that summer, Fang Jueyu transformed from a poor soul into a mega-rich person worth tens of millions of US dollars in a blink. What did internships have to do with him at all? He had long since flung such matters to the farthest corners of his mind. Not long ago was the time to submit internship reports. Every student in the college submitted their internship reports and proof of internships from companies on time. Only Fang Jueyu didn't submit anything. They had already had Fang Jueyu's class monitor urge him several times, but they still couldn't contact him. Enraged, the college leaders decided to take matters into their own hands. The head of the computer science department personally called Fang Jueyu. Darn, Fang Jueyu had saved the department head's number. He, someone who dominated Europe effortlessly, returned to school and was still just a small fry. The teacher's call was like a lifetime of shadow looming over him. Juel, Professor Juel. Fang Jueyu, you still recognize me as your professor, huh? Were you planning not to graduate if I didn't call to urge you? Zhu Shank said furiously. Where are your internship certificate and report? I didn't go to the internship, Fang Jueyu said meekly. Didn't go to the internship. Do you think just because your family has some money it's amazing? Do you think it's okay if you even can't get your diploma? Zhu Shank wasn't an old fossil. He had heard of Fang Jueyu's name recently. I tell you, if you don't complete your graduation internship, forget about getting a diploma. I'll also talk to your parents. Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes. He himself didn't know what planet his parents were on. If he could find them, he'd screw his head off and kick it to Professor Zhu as a football. No, no, no. Fang Jueyu panicked a bit. If Professor Zhu really tried contacting his parents and found no one, it'd be a big problem. Oh, so you know fear, Zhu Shank chuckled. Kids are still kids, given a little money and they play around a lot, understandable. He was just trying to scare Fang Jueyu. How about this? I'll arrange a company for you. You can start the graduation thesis next year, but for these 2 months, you need to make up for the internship first. As the head of the computer science department, Zhu Shank knew quite a few high-level executives in related companies. After all, Jiangnan University's computer science department was strong. Many students became the backbone of technology and management after working in enterprises for 2 or 3 years. How about this one, Pentium Technology? I'll write you a recommendation letter and you directly go find their head of the technical department. They'll arrange an intern position for you, Zhu Shank said. This, Professor, can I get a different one? What, you don't like this company? Haha, it's okay, let me see. Zhu Shank flipped through the alumni files. Then this, Jillian Technology, their information security department also has a senior executive who was our student. Professor, any others? Why are you so picky? Zhu Shank thought Fang Jueyu found these companies not large enough. Then how about this? Thunder Technology is fine. It's an alumni enterprise from our school. Maybe you even know the company's bosses. This too. Fang Jueyu, Zhu Shank finally got angry. He painstakingly arranged an internship, and yet Fang Jueyu was being so choosy. Do you just not want to intern at all? Professor Zhu, I'm being wronged. Fang Jueyu felt like crying. These companies are mine, I'm their boss. How am I supposed to intern there? Zhu Shank was completely devastated. He shouted out the names of over a dozen internet companies, but to his surprise, they were all under Fang Jueyu's name. Was he supposed to let the owner of a company work as an intern in his own company? Although it wasn't an issue, arranging it like that would make it meaningless. Who would dare boss around Fang Jueyu? Who would dare assign him tasks? Then this so-called graduation internship would be pointless. How about this? You go intern at Ma Teng's company Tencent. That company isn't yours, is it? Zhao Yi informed Fang Jueyu that 62% of the shares of that company were in Ma Teng's hands. Although Fang Jueyu also held a small portion, it was only a few percent. All right then, Fang Jueyu finally succumbed to Zhu Shank's authoritative persuasion. Great, I'll make a call for you. For the next 2 months, you'll obediently intern at Tencent. They're recruiting interns for the gaming department right now, so I'll assign you to the game department. I'll follow teacher Zhu's arrangement. Fang Jueyu wiped his cold sweat and finally hung up the phone. It seemed his mental resilience was still not strong enough. It was probably the aftermath of living under the shadow of compulsory education all these years. No matter what kind of person he was, he still maintained a certain level of reverence in front of his teachers. Zhuo Shank indeed had strong connections. As the department head of the Computer Science College, his students were almost everywhere in the global internet companies. Finding an internship position was quite easy. Within just 2 days, Fang Jueyu received his internship notice. He was assigned to the gameplay planning department at Tencent Games, where Wu Jiang, a senior from the 15th batch of Jiangnan University's Computer Science College, was the department head. At 8:30 in the morning, Fang Jueyu arrived punctually at Wu Jiang's office. To be honest, in just a few days, his identity had undergone a drastic change, and this feeling was still novel to him. To Fang Jueyu, money wasn't even a number anymore. Had you seen those landlords who collected rent each month, carrying large bags from one building to another simply to keep busy? Previously, Fang Jueyu thought those people were just showing off. With so much money, why not just eat, drink, and sleep peacefully? Why go against themselves? But now he understood that a life full of money was truly boring. "Hello, senior. I'm intern Fang Jueyu here to report." Fang Jueyu knocked on the office door. Fang Jueyu, haha, Dean. To Fang Juyu's surprise, Wu Jiang seemed to go insane, suddenly putting down his mouse and charging toward him. "Haha, sorry, I got a bit excited." Wu Jiang rubbed his hands on his checkered shirt. "Actually, I'm a fan of yours. When teacher Zhu called me the other day, I didn't believe it. I thought it might be someone else with the same name. Who would have thought it was really you?" "Senior, just call me Fang Jueyu. I'm here for an internship, just treat me like any regular student," Fang Jueyu said, knowing their department head was famously strict. If he slacked off here and got caught, he'd be in trouble. "Strange, if I remember correctly, you're the legal representative of Thunder Technology, right? You're so wealthy, why are you still doing an internship here?" Wu Jiang asked. "Blame teacher Zhu," Fang Jueyu rolled his eyes. "Without an internship certificate and report, the school won't let me graduate." "They won't let you graduate. Why don't you buy all of Jiangnan University then?" Wu Jiang joked. "I wish I could," Fang Jueyu muttered. "But with so many national-level projects and invaluable scholars at Jiangnan University, even if he could afford it, the country might not want to sell." "Senior, why don't you assign me some tasks?" "All right, let me give you a tour of our department first." Wu Jiang showed Fang Jueyu around. This department was quite complex. The game planning department included the main storyline, dungeon gameplay, and even some data design, as well as the player-challenging drop rate design. Overall, it was practically the brain keeping a game running long-term. Fang Jueyu had always preferred shooting game designs. Recently, Tencent had just released a game called Fatal Operation, very similar to the popular Battle Royale games, fitting right into the current trend. He was directly assigned to the design team for that game. Whether this task was part of the actual process, or because Wu Jiang gave Fang Jueyu special treatment, was unclear. Surprisingly, Fang Juyu's task for the first week was to quickly familiarize himself with the game. Naturally, he was expected to do this by experiencing the game. The game was indeed very interesting, and Fang Jueyu couldn't put it down, playing throughout the entire afternoon. The computers there were already top of the line, but still couldn't compare to the supercomputer Fang Jueyu used at home. Leading to occasional lag, he found plenty of reasons to complain about. "Zioyi, what do your civilization people usually do for fun?" Fang Jueyu stretched his neck and limbs, chatting idly with Zioyi. "There's quite a lot. We can create a world in the virtual network that's even larger than the universe. With neural connections, we can transmit our senses and even souls to the network, far surpassing current human virtual reality technology." "Wow, I wish I could play this game as if I were really there," Fang Jueyu said enviously. "That's not difficult. Although it's far from our planet's level, simulating over 80% of physical sensations is achievable with Earth's current technology. It's just a matter of the technology not being fully developed yet." "Really?" Fang Jueyu was surprised. "But it's quite a money drain. Although it wouldn't take too long, getting it done would likely require a significant investment at your current level." "Spending money?" Fang Juyu's eyes lit up. "How much money are we talking? Spending money is my favorite pastime." Currently, Fang Jueyu had several billion US dollars still unused. "Hard to say. This technology requires constructing a very special server and needs a supercomputer to run," Zioyi estimated. "A supercomputer might require tens of billions of dollars, while the server would probably require 100 times that amount." "Haha, wouldn't that just burn through a few $1 billion?" Fang Jueyu was overjoyed. Indeed, investing in technology was the fastest way to burn through money. Host if you need, I can help solve the programming issues. You'll just need to hire a batch of programmers. As for the game, you'll have to choose it well yourself. Why choose? I think this game is perfect, Fang Jueyu said. Developing a game like this from scratch at my company is just too much trouble. If copyright issues come up, that's even more annoying. Might as well modify it based on fatal operation. What are you planning? It's their game. You can't just change it as you please. Right now it's theirs. If I buy it, wouldn't it become mine? In the headquarters of Tengsun, Ma Teng sat on the balcony of his office, basking in the sun and enjoying a rare afternoon break. Starting his business in his 20s, he was now approaching 50. Creating such a vast internet business empire certainly made him a winner in life. He once had a dream to bring his company Tencent onto the world stage and make it the largest internet company. However, with giants like Microsoft, Apple, Banana, and Cashew ahead, it had become challenging to lead internationally. As he aged, his ambitions waned gradually, leaving many of the company's affairs to his vice presidents. He planned to sit stably in the chairman's position for a few more years before retiring. Mr. Ma Teng's assistant suddenly approached with a thick report. "How's that game, Fatal Action, doing recently?" Ma Teng asked. He poured a considerable amount of resources into this game, believing it would bring a massive benefit to the company. "Just as you expected, the results are excellent. This is the report for this month." The assistant handed over the documents. This quarter, Tengsun's total revenue reached 20 billion renminbi, with Tengsun Games accounting for over 70% of it, reaching a staggering 15.2 billion. Mobile games and computer games each held half the share, with just Fatal Action alone bringing in 2.7 billion in quarterly revenue. Not bad, not bad. For 3 months, monthly revenue kept a growth rate of over 30%, and it was estimated this increase could last several more months. Eventually, the monthly income might bring the company close to $2 billion, which was quite an impressive figure. Ma Teng continued reading. Tengsun's leading role-playing games were also doing well. For instance, the game Beautiful Ghost had shown remarkable results both on mobile platforms and online. "Mr. Ma, there's another piece of news I want to tell you." The assistant hesitated, unsure whether to reveal the information. "What's the matter? Speak up, don't be so hesitant, that's not your usual work style," Ma Teng chuckled. "It's like this. Starting from 3 days ago, someone began gradually acquiring our company's shares on the market." "What's the ratio?" Ma Teng inquired, as he alone held 62% of the shares. Regardless of how others acquired shares, he remained the largest shareholder and nothing could change his status, so he wasn't concerned at all. By the time the stock market closed yesterday, nearly 11.2% had been acquired. That much? Ma Teng was surprised. Tengsun's current market value was nearly $300 billion, so 11.2% equaled over 30 billion, something not anyone could easily come up with. If he remembered correctly, 30 billion would even make it into the Forbes top 10, wouldn't it? "Who exactly is it? Can it be traced?" Ma Teng asked. Though he wasn't very worried, he was curious about who could come up with such a large sum all at once. Had such a wealthy person appeared domestically? "The shares have changed hands many times, making the final destination untraceable." The assistant shook her head. The opposing side's tactics were very sophisticated, clearly a person with rich experience. "Strange, what could be their purpose?" Ma Teng was curious. Although Tengsun was a publicly listed company, it was privately held with the largest portion under his control. As long as he didn't sell his shares, the company was forever under his say. With such a large amount of capital, why invest in Tengsun? There were plenty of other ways for those 3 billion to create even more value. Ring, ring, ring. At that moment the phone in Ma Teng's office rang. He waved his hand, signaling the assistant to answer it. He hadn't finished enjoying the lovely sunbath yet. The assistant picked up the phone. It was a call from the game planning department, but the voice on the line was a very young one, obviously not the director of the planning department. "Mr. Ma, there's an intern in the game planning department who wants to see you," the assistant said. "An intern?" Ma Teng was taken aback. Tengsun was such a large company, there were countless supervisors above a little intern. How could it warrant a meeting with the chairman? "What a joke," Ma Teng said. "There are thousands wanting to meet me every day, including those who want to kill me, run me over, and throw rotten eggs at me, all because Tengsun's drop rates are so unreliable. If he had to meet these people every day, He assumed he'd have been verbally killed countless times by now. But Mr. Ma, that intern said if you don't see him, he'll mess up all our games. Lunatic, ignore him. Bang! The assistant hung up the phone directly, also finding the person a bit crazy. Did they really think Tangsun's games could be messed up by some random intern? Damn you, Ma Teng, you dare hang up on me. Fang Jueyu had secretly used the department director's phone during his break, sporting a sly grin. Don't believe I can mess up your games, huh? It was undoubtedly Fang Jueyu who was acquiring Tangsun's shares. While the 11.2% looked significant, the company's control remained with Ma Teng. Fang Jueyu's game plan was an enormous project, and even as the second-largest shareholder, it was unlikely Ma Teng would agree to the game's overhaul. A supercomputer alone would cost tens of billions of US dollars, which would be burning money. Hence, there was no other way. Fang Jueyu had to acquire enough shares to have enough say, so he needed to play some clever tricks. After several months of high-profile behavior, Fang Jueyu had amassed tens of millions of fans online, and they were very active. Who wouldn't be encouraged by a big guy who regularly gave out hundreds or even thousands of 10,000 yuan red envelopes weekly? If Lady Luck smiled at them every time, working wouldn't even be necessary. During his downtime, Fang Jueyu had joined several of his fan groups. Initially, those fans were skeptical of his identity, but after a few hefty red envelopes, everyone's concerns were quickly put to rest. He opened one of the groups and without a word, sent out 100 red envelopes of 200 yuan each. The group had 2,000 members, and within moments, everyone came flooding out, with all 100 envelopes gone in just 2 seconds. Whoa, Dean, so you finally remembered your account password. Haha, I got one. Love you, Dean, Mua. Guys, help me out. Fang Jueyu typed on his phone, don't worry, you'll be paid. The fans exploded after reading his battle plan. Dean, are you going head-to-head with Boss Ma? Dean, are you planning to acquire Tangsun? With what you're doing, this game's gonna be ruined fast. Ding Xiaolai was a seasoned role-playing game player. Years ago, ever since Tencent released this game called Sword Soul World, its gorgeous graphics, intriguing mechanics, and rich gameplay captivated him. After a year of grinding through events day and night, he had become one of the top free players in the game. Their server boasted several big-spending players who long dominated the top of the PK leaderboards. However, for these free players, this small number of whales was entirely acceptable. As long as their gear and skills were enough to slay bosses and complete storylines, the game experience was already quite satisfying. On that particular day, he was leveling up in a map. The game had a feature where, at a fixed time every day, a powerful boss would appear on each map. For those big spenders, soloing these bosses was a breeze, but for them, they needed to band together to take them down. Fortunately, each player could only challenge one boss per instance, so those wealthy players couldn't compete with them once they'd monopolized a boss. Time's almost up. Mad Lion King is about to spawn. Ding Xiaolai hastily shouted in his friend list. This boss was of little interest to the whales but dropped fairly decent items and equipment, making it one of the most popular bosses among free players. I'm coming, report coordinates. Wait for me, let me take a dump real quick. I'm going to the warehouse to change gear. In less than 5 minutes, Ding Xiaolai and his friends gathered at Mad Lion King's spawn point. They were incredibly excited, as some just needed to kill this boss one more time to complete an achievement quest. It spawned, one player shouted excitedly. A glow signaling the monster's spawn began to illuminate the map. Brothers, get ready. Whoosh! An intense light shot from the side, instantly striking Mad Lion King with a massive critical hit, depleting 1/5 of its health in one go. Who was that? Ding Xiaolai immediately switched his view. Their attack power couldn't even inflict 1/10 of that damage. Only the top players across the server could manage such hits. But why would they be interested in Mad Lion King? There were much better bosses awaiting them. Ding Xiaolai glanced at that player's name. Ma Teng take call 8. WTF, what kind of move is this? Everyone had a similar question pop into their heads as they looked at that ID. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. A few skills from Ma Teng take call 8 landed on the boss's head, delivering the damage that would take their entire team half an hour to deal. With a wretched scream, Mad Lion King vanished in a flash of golden light, leaving behind a heap of items, money, and equipment. Have any of you seen this ID before? Ding Xiaolai typed a string of question marks on the public chat. Never seen it, must be a new alias. Judging by this, they must have spent at least $10,000. Nothing here today. I'm going back to my dump, see you tomorrow. Similar scenes unfolded in every server of Sword Soul World. Suddenly, a large number of high-level players emerged in these servers. Wherever there was a boss, they would be there, and each went by the name Ma Teng Take Call XXX. Throughout the night, the free players found no places to level up, so they logged off and flocked to the Sword Soul World game forum. It was then they realized this wasn't a series of isolated incidents. Almost every populous server saw a surge of such players. They occupied the wild leveling maps, monopolized all the bosses and instances, making it almost impossible for others to participate in the game. While these guys' IDs are clearly a provocation to CEO Ma, which gaming guild is this? Can I join? The person above, this is clearly organized and disciplined behavior. The equipment of those players must be worth tens of thousands, so no wonder today the marketplace's high-level gear got cleaned out and all those premium accounts got bought. Eating popcorn. At CEO Ma, pick up your phone. CEO Ma, please answer your phone. If this continues, the game will be unplayable. For a full 3 days, the group of high-level players seemed to have an agreement as they camped in various areas. With their involvement, a large number of players lost their gaming experience, with calls to quit the game rising rapidly in the forum. Someone estimated that this ID had been seen at least up to number 875. Which meant at least $1 billion had been spent in this game to assemble this team. If this were a collective action from a wealthy guild, it would be understandable. But the game ID was likely the organized action of one person, spending $1 billion in a game just to make Ma answer a phone call. What kind of play was this? Was this the legendary spending beyond reason? Initially, the game department didn't take it seriously. But after 2 days, they noticed online player numbers in Sword Soul World had sharply dropped by 30%, with even a lot of big spending players leaving. What did this mean? This meant that the game was quickly headed toward its demise. This news quickly reached Ma Teng. Now the entire game was filled with complaints. Many players stated that if they could not control the gaming experience, they would be done with it. It was important to know that this game was based on time cards. So unlike mobile games where revenue came mainly from big spenders, these free players still accounted for a portion of the game's income. If those players left, it would undoubtedly be a massive blow to the game. At this time, another post appeared on the forum. Ma Teng Take Call 1111, a revealing look at Tencent Games' enhancement rates. Official statement: the +10 enhancement success rate for the Sword Soul World is 3%. Yet today, I used 20,000 enhancement scrolls, and the success rate was only 0.97%. Below this post were enhancement videos and screenshots. If enhancing 10 or 100 times leaves room for randomness, then enhancing 20,000 times almost certainly proved the success rate was far from 3%, with a lot of manipulation. Damn, Boss Ma, you're too underhanded. No wonder I spent so much money failing over and over. I thought I had African blood in me. We demand a recalibration of success rates. Boss Ma, return my hard-earned money. Bang! Ma Teng angrily smashed his phone onto the coffee table. Was this person out of their mind or what? One level 10 enhancement scroll cost 500 RMB, and with the +9 weapons used as raw materials, that added up to another billion. Was it necessary to do all this just to make him pick up a phone call? This is ridiculous. Ma Teng knew the person behind this had to be the same person who called him days ago. They had said they would mess with Tencent's games, and now they had actually done it. Ding ding ding, Ma Teng's work phone rang. He hesitated for a moment before reluctantly answering the call. Hello, this is Ma Teng. Mr. Ma, you finally answered. A very youthful voice came from the other end. I said, if you don't want to meet me, I'll ruin Tengzin games, and if that's not enough for you, I'll switch to another game tomorrow and do the same thing. What exactly do you want? Ma Teng was truly cornered. You might say he was causing trouble, but he was legitimately spending money on the game and spending over $1 billion while at it. But then again, you could say he was playing the game normally, yet he was driving other players away. If the game was disrupted by him for 10 days or half a month, it might have to shut down at any moment. Didn't I say a few days ago? I just have a business deal I want to discuss with Mr. Ma, but you didn't give me the chance, so I had to resort to this. Throwing money around is your method, Ma Teng nearly roared. Over $1 billion for more than 1,000 gaming accounts, plus those operating them, that costs money too, right? Is money that cheap now? Don't say that, Mr. Ma. However, it's true, money is just a number to you, and to me, it's not even that, Fang Jueyu said. Let's talk business. All right then, Ma Teng sighed. At this point he could only concede. After all, he had money and was willing to spend it. I'm in the office. When will you arrive? I'm just interning at the game development department, Mr. Ma. Give me 5 minutes, I'll be right up. Fang Jueyu hung up and rushed upstairs. An intern? Ma Teng's lips twitched. What kind of intern casually throws $2 billion to mess up a game? Since when did such a deity appear in his company? Knock, knock, knock. Fang Jueyu knocked on Ma Teng's office door. Mr. Ma, may I come in? Come in. Ma Teng was also curious about why this young person went to such lengths to find him. Thank you. Fang Jueyu opened the door and walked in. Ma Teng sat at his desk. Upon seeing Fang Jueyu, his youth startled Ma Teng, but on closer inspection, this face seemed somewhat familiar. Mr. Ma, I've long admired your name, Fang Jueyu said politely. I grew up playing your Tengzin games. Now I finally have the opportunity to meet you. Oh, by the way, my name is Fang Jueyu. You may have heard of me. So it's you. Ma Teng finally realized why he found this face familiar. This was the young man who had recently been making frequent appearances on Weibo. Now his fame matched Wang Kong's. Wealthy, flamboyant, those were his characteristics. Initially, Ma Teng hadn't paid much attention to Fang Jueyu. After all, a child is just a child, relying on family resources, much like how he'd never taken Wang Kong seriously. Perhaps only Wang Kong's father, Wang Lin, could earn his respect. But since the incident of Fang Jueyu donating $30 billion broke out, Ma Teng no longer thought this way. Even he couldn't possibly donate such an amount. He had always been interested in meeting this young man Fang Jueyu, but he hadn't expected they'd meet in such a manner. Mr. Fang, your name is well known too. Ma Teng stood up from his seat. It's not easy to meet Mr. Ma, Fang Jueyu joked. Ma Teng silently cursed Fang Jueyu thousands of times. You're such a person of status, wanting to meet me, would it kill you to have your assistant schedule an appointment? Had I known it was you, I would have met you sooner. Mr. Fang, you were the one who acquired our Tengzin's 11.2% shares, right? In his heart, Ma Teng had already guessed the answer. Yes, it was me, Fang Jueyu admitted without hesitation. He was targeting the shares in Ma Teng's hands and had no need to hide anything. It's just that, Mr. Fang, I don't understand why you're acquiring these shares. What's your purpose? Ma Teng asked curiously. Mr. Fang, you donated $30 billion and now acquiring these shares costs another $30 billion. Your assets must be far beyond that, right? With so much capital, you could easily establish your own internet company. Why trouble Tengzin? Starting a company is too troublesome. Fang Jueyu waved his hand. Registering, building headquarters, recruiting employees, it's too time-consuming. Well, I'm currently interning at Tengzin's game development department, Fang Jueyu said. Your game Fatal Rhythm is pretty good, but I feel it's missing something. So I thought if I could buy Tengzin, then the game would be mine, and I could change it however I want. Damn, Ma Teng's lips twitched heavily. Just because you want to redesign a game, you're thinking of acquiring my entire company. Do you have too much money to spend? Ma Teng didn't say this out loud, but cursed Fang Jueyu thousands of times in his heart. This kind of operation was beyond his imagination, a blind spot for his knowledge. With such a large sum of money, you could develop 10 similar games. Why insist on acquiring Tengzin's shares? But considering Fang Jueyu's previous actions, flying cars with helicopters, flinging money at Wang Kong, smashing cars with firefighter axes, sending little online celebrities funded by rich women to mental institutions, what couldn't he do? He was not just a fool, but a fool with incomprehensible wealth. Such a ridiculous reason seemed perfectly plausible for him. Mr. Fang, if you're interested in this game, we can completely collaborate on it. The thought of Fang Jueyu's unfathomable financial power made Ma Teng panic. Maybe he really could fork out a hefty sum to buy Tengzin outright. No, Mr. Ma. My aspirations for this game are not that simple. If I can't gain control of the company, it'll be hard to implement the redesign plan, Fang Jueyu said frankly. I want to obtain 25% of your shares, Mr. Ma. Are you willing to sell them to me? After some time, Fang Jueyu managed to acquire a few more percentage points from the market. By securing 25% of shares from Ma Teng, he would immediately transform into Tang Xin's largest shareholder. Ma Teng was dumbfounded. He had worked hard for nearly 30 years, starting as a small trader in computer parts, and now he was the boss of a listed company. Needless to say, the hardships he endured. Now, a 20-year-old young man wanted to acquire 25% of his shares just because he had ideas about a game, turning him from a big boss into a second-largest shareholder. Who could he reason with about this? What's in the minds of young people these days? Moreover, according to Tang Xin's current market value, 25% of shares would require at least 75 billion US dollars. He couldn't believe Fang Jueyu wasn't aware of this figure. Adding to his earlier spending of 60 billion, that was a total of 135 billion. If he remembered correctly, the gentleman at the top of Forbes had about that much in assets, right? At this thought, Ma Teng's pupils suddenly widened several times. He's the real richest man in the world. Sorry, Mr. Fang, I have no intention of selling my shares. Before, it was due to the company's development and financing needs that Ma Teng sold part of his shares. But now that Tengsun was flourishing, with no shortage of investment and no major risks, asking him to sell his shares was simply impossible. Mr. Ma, I believe nothing is impossible in this world. If something seems impossible, it just means the terms haven't been agreed upon. What do you think? Fang Jueyu said with a smile. What do you mean, Mr. Fang? Ma Teng's eye twitched. He felt as though Fang Jueyu's smile hit a dagger, as if he was confident he could get Ma Teng to part with some of his shares. How about I offer 100 billion US dollars for the 25% shares you hold, Mr. Ma? Fang Jueyu said calmly, as if he had just mentioned $1,000 instead of 100 billion. PFF. Ma Teng was sipping coffee and nearly spat it out upon hearing that number. Based on the current market value, his 25% stake was worth only about 75 billion, and this offer was a more than 30% increase. Who could resist that? Seeing Ma Teng's loss of composure, Fang Jueyu smiled slightly. It seemed that Ma Teng's psychological resilience was rather average. In reality, Fang Jueyu had always been frustrated with Ma Teng. He had played several mobile games that Tengsun hosted, and whether it was drawing cards or items, he was always unlucky. He couldn't count the times he had silently cursed Ma Teng, so seeing him in distress was quite satisfying. Mr. Fang, you shouldn't waste your time. Selling my shares is out of the question. Even if you keep causing issues in the game, I'll repeat 2 words, not selling. Although the 30% increase seemed significant, it was just a one-time income. What mattered more to Ma Teng was future development. If he handed over that part of the shares while remaining the largest shareholder, he might have considered it. These were 2 completely different concepts. Mr. Ma, don't shut the door on this just yet, Fang Jueyu said. Our famous philosopher Mr. Wang Jing's proposed the truth fragrance law, which has never failed. I believe that with sufficient sincerity, this deal can still be negotiated. How about 150 billion for 25% of the shares? Fang Jueyu increased his offer by 50%, nearly doubling the market value. The hand holding Ma Teng's cup trembled slightly. Fang Jueyu was trying to bury him in cash. Even the world's richest people wouldn't be able to put together 150 billion US dollars. How could he have this much money on hand? This was business conducted in billions, not petty thousands. Could he not be so excessive? It seems Mr. Ma is considering it. Noticing Ma Teng's changing expressions, Fang Jueyu knew his price had made an impact. A $150 billion offer was enough to turn Ma Teng into the world's richest person overnight, an almost irresistible temptation. Mr. Fang, that's not fair. Ma Teng was close to tears. The allure of that price was too overwhelming. Even if he kept running Tengsun, it would take him until retirement to amass such a fortune. But Tengsun was the empire he had built with his life's work. Handing it over felt unbearably unfair. How about this? A final offer, 200 billion US dollars. Fang Jueyu knew Ma Teng had started to waver. This was the time to strike hard. He didn't care how much he spent or when he'd see returns. He just wanted to quickly spend that damn $300 billion. Mr. Fang, be honest with me. What exactly do you want with my shares? I don't believe you're just after one game. Ma Teng chuckled bitterly, wondering if Fang Jueyu saw endless potential in his company and wanted a stake in it. Was plunking down 200 billion really worth it? I have no interest in your company, Fang Jueyu waved his hand. Honestly, I have no interest in making money either. I just want to spend it and enjoy playing games, nothing more. Beads of sweat formed on Ma Teng's forehead. Why did that sound so familiar? Didn't the e-commerce mogul Ma say something similar once? But what's this business of just wanting to spend money? He'd heard of people putting thousands, even millions into a game, but never 200 billion. I hate rich people. Ma Teng admitted the price was simply too tempting to refuse. Otherwise, he'd lose sleep for nights on end. You can sell your shares to me, but I hope to continue directing the company's development and making all major decisions. Can you agree to that, Mr. Fang? Since Fang Jueyu had been upfront about his intentions, Ma Teng figured he wouldn't have much interest in the managerial side. Wonderful, nothing would please me more. Fang Jueyu loved being hands-off, and having someone take care of the management was perfect. After all, his initial goal was just that one game. Can't you have a little ambition? Ma Teng muttered to himself. How could even such unreasonable conditions be agreed upon by Fang Jueyu? He now truly believed that Fang Jueyu had no interest in Tengsun, just the game. Today's youth were terrifyingly bold. Here est to successful partnership. Fang Jueyu raised his glass to clink with Ma Teng's. So, Mr. Fang, what improvements do you have in mind for fatal action? Ma Teng was curious to know what had driven Fang Jueyu to invest so extravagantly in this game. Is it the game mechanics or gameplay issues? That's impossible, Ma Teng quickly said. Although there were many VR games on the market, they mostly involved visual and auditory senses. Creating a tactile sensory experience was far beyond current technology, not to mention pain and fatigue, which were much more complex. Just because others can't do it doesn't mean I can't, Fang Jueyu revealed a mysterious smile. To be honest, Mr. Ma, my technical team has already developed the key technology for this. With the right equipment, we can project 80% of a person's senses into a virtual game world. Is this true? Ma Teng was sure that Fang Jueyu wasn't just making empty boasts, but he hesitated because current VR tech was nowhere near this level of advancement. If such a game actually appeared, Ma Teng believed it would become a worldwide sensation within weeks, generating astronomical wealth and value. Tengsun could then potentially become a leader in the global online game industry. Of course, or why else would I come to you, Mr. Ma? But with such technology, you could create a game independently. Once released, it would quickly capture a huge market share, possibly causing us at Tengsun great competitive losses. Ma Teng was admittedly shaken by how contradictory Fang Jueyu's actions seemed. Mr. Ma, I told you I hate trouble. Fang Jueyu set his cup down on the table. When I encounter problems, I like to solve them with money. To be frank, Mr. Fang, at the current pace of development, this kind of technology would take at least 10 years to materialize. Without solid evidence, it's hard for me to believe. Ma Teng was indeed a very rational person. Perhaps it was this rationality that led to his tremendous success. I knew you'd have such concerns, Mr. Ma, and I've prepared for it. Fang Jueyu had already anticipated Ma Teng's concerns. He had Little Yi produce a small piece of equipment a few days ago, a simple device consisting of a basic game and a special helmet. However, due to technical and time constraints, Little Yi only managed to make a simplified helmet in 3 days, but it could still achieve more than 70% simulation accuracy, which was already a quite high level. Oh, Ma Teng immediately showed interest. I've prepared a set of simple experience equipment. If Mr. Ma has time today, you're welcome to try it at my place. That would be great. Ma Teng was eager to experience it himself. In fact, he was a hardcore gamer, but regular games no longer captivated him. A game with such high simulation accuracy was appealing to anyone. Are you driving this thing to your internship? Ma Teng was stunned as he watched Fang Jueyu park the Sun God in the underground garage, thinking that if Fang was only interning, couldn't he be a little low-key? Driving a car like this could take the whole department years to afford. Who would dare assign him work? It's simply the easiest car for me to drive. Fang Jueyu controlled the car with his voice, performing actions like opening doors and starting the engine, scenes that seemed straight out of a sci-fi movie. It seemed like no country had produced such an intelligent sports car yet. Now, Ma Teng started to believe that Fang Jueyu might actually develop a VR gaming device like this. Yu Xinyu had already gone to practice in her recording studio, and Zhuang Ying was still handling matters related to the Ladinic family. Besides the few people cleaning, there was nobody else in Jiangnan's villa. Wow, you've got quite an eye for living, remarked Ma Teng, recognizing many of the artworks in the hall. some of which Fang Jueyu had acquired from an auction last time. Nothing much, just some trinkets not worth much, Fang Jueyu casually responded. Not worth much. Earlier, Ma Teng noticed a Van Gogh painting and doubted that a person like Fang Jueyu would display fakes in his home. Such items, worth millions of US dollars, he claimed to be insignificant. That was indeed how Fang Jueyu saw it. To him, anything that didn't cost over his 500 billion US dollar principal was deemed worthless. Here we are. Fang Jueyu had a gaming room in his home, specifically for playing games. The equipment Little Yi prepared had been delivered yesterday. Fang Jueyu had tried it himself, and the feeling was indeed dreamlike. Whoa! As he entered the gaming room, even Ma Teng was surprised. This wasn't just a place to play games, it was nearly as equipped as a lab. Is this the thing? Ma Teng pointed at the silver helmet connected to a bunch of data cables. That's right, Fang Jueyu explained. This helmet uses neural synchronization to project your sensory thoughts into the computer. Through the supercomputer's expansive computing power, feedback is converted into data and neural fluctuations, then sent back to your brain to simulate various physical sensations. The realism can reach up to 70%. Can I try it now? Ma Teng couldn't wait to ask. Of course. Fang Jueyu opened a computer and connected the silver helmet to it. Mr. Ma, have a seat. Ma Teng, quite daring, sat down directly on the gaming chair in front of the computer. You might feel uncomfortable at first, but it'll ease soon, Fang Jueyu said as he placed the helmet on Ma Teng's head. He felt a tingling sensation from his temples. Suddenly, a glaring brightness unfolded before him. Within moments, he realized he was standing on a turbulent sea, on a sailboat riding the waves. Splash! A massive wave crashed against the side of the boat, throwing it into a violent sway. Unable to keep his footing, Ma Teng fell to the ground, feeling a subtle sense of pain in his leg. Mr. Ma, I only set the pain perception to 10%, just to give you a slight feel, Fang Jueyu's voice echoed in his mind. It's incredible. Ma Teng touched his clothes, the sensation of cold, damp fabric being astonishingly realistic. The enormous waves and the sea breeze, was this truly only 70% simulation? What's that? Suddenly, a massive tentacle emerged from the sea ahead, at least 10 meters long, crashing down onto the ship. Crash! The deck shattered, and Ma Teng was flung skyward by the overwhelming force, plunging into the sea. The salty water, together with the feeling of suffocating, surrounded him. Just as he was about to feel discomfort, the vision and sensations in his body disappeared instantly. Ma Teng removed the helmet and saw Fang Jueyu smiling at him. How was it, Mr. Ma? Amazing, said Ma Teng, inspecting himself to find no injuries or discomfort. Everything felt just like a dream. Did you really create this? That's right, Fang Jueyu nodded. Isn't it a waste to use this technology for gaming? Ma Teng, with a wider perspective than Fang Jueyu, knew that if this technology were applied to military training, it could facilitate large-scale military exercises, greatly enhancing national defense capabilities. If other countries took notice, they might even covet it. This was national strategic-level technology, and yet Fang Jueyu developed it just for gaming. Waste? What's the waste? Fang Jueyu pointed at the data line behind the computer. See that? We even use a supercomputer for gaming in my house. Damn it! Ma Teng in an instant felt the urge to curse. Such powerful technology, not applied to more meaningful uses, yet used for gaming. Who needs that? Just because you're rich? Does having money allow you to do whatever you want? I'm wealthy myself, but I've never used a supercomputer to play games. What do you plan to do with this game? Ma Teng still focused on the most critical point. For single player, the system requirements aren't that high. But to create a large-scale online game, it requires massive specialized servers and supercomputers for data support. How much would it cost? The helmet itself isn't expensive, costing about 4,000 yuan. The construction cost of a supercomputer is about 1.5 billion US dollars. I have channels for this, so you don't need to worry. As for the specialized servers, they might be a bit pricier. 10 billion, Ma Teng tentatively asked. If it needs to accommodate over 500,000 players, it would require around 150 billion US dollars. Gasp! Ma Teng took a sharp breath. The investment technology-wise was truly substantial. Don't worry, I'm covering the costs. Fang Jueyu patted his chest. But Mr. Ma, setting up the servers requires a lot of manpower and regular maintenance work. Those tasks are up to you. You'll lose a substantial amount of money, Ma Teng remarked. I wish I could lose more, Fang Jueyu said. So are you in or out? Give me a straightforward answer. Ma Teng gritted his teeth. This was definitely a huge opportunity for him. If this revolutionary game hit the market, his company's stock would undoubtedly soar. Overtaking those big corporations wouldn't be too difficult. I'm in. With such a cooperative opportunity, Ma Teng would only profit, not lose. Not going for it would indeed make him a fool. Mr. Fang, have you ever thought about how this technology could be used for more beneficial things for the country? Ma Teng said. For example, in military training, it can achieve the best training results with minimal costs. Fang Jueyu was focused on developing a game that satisfied him and hadn't really thought about such applications. Ma Teng's words clearly enlightened him. Yeah, Fang Jueyu slapped his forehead. The country invests heavily in military training every year. Live ammunition exercises not only come at a high cost but also occasionally result in injuries and casualties. With such a system, these costs could be reduced to zero. The only expense would be large servers and supercomputers. Other costs would just be a few $1,000s per helmet for each person. For a large country, this is nothing, as the annual investment in this area is astronomical. Fang Jueyu could completely hand this technology over to the country. He could not only invest a huge amount of money, but also contribute to the nation. Thinking about it carefully, just donating had already significantly increased the completion of his first stage permission task. Contributing to the country like this would surely yield even better results. Ha, Mr. Ma, you've really helped me out. Let's go, I'll treat you to a meal. Our family chef is absolutely top-notch. Fang Jueyu suddenly became extremely enthusiastic. Ma Teng was somewhat bewildered. He just made a suggestion. How did he become so helpful? Fang Jueyu's chef prepared an incredibly sumptuous lunch for the two of them. Even Ma Teng, who was used to gourmet food, couldn't stop praising. Not long after, Ma Teng's assistant brought over an equity transfer agreement. As soon as they signed their names, Fang Jueyu became the largest shareholder of the entire Tencsun Group. Sigh, Ma Teng sighed deeply, lamenting that the fruits of his lifetime's work were given to someone else. From now on, Tencsun Group would carry the Fang name. Mr. Ma, there's no need to be so upset. Trust me, giving me this 25% stake will bring you returns far exceeding this number. The remaining 37% stake in your hands will surely surprise you. I have no doubt whatsoever, Ma Teng laughed. This technology was something other companies might not be able to develop in 5 years, meaning that during this time, Tencsun Company could dominate the market as a unique leader. Moreover, this technology could be applied not just to this type of game, but also to simulation games, action games, role-playing games, and more, yielding significant effects. It's worth noting that profits for most internet companies today primarily come from games. As long as you dominate the gaming market, you can occupy the top of the entire internet industry's food chain. Well, Mr. Ma, I'm not one for managing affairs. I just like spending money and playing around. In the future, the company's management should continue as you've always done. Just inform me when there are major decisions to be made. Ma Teng readily agreed. It was a good thing that Fang Jueyu wouldn't be involved in the company's management. Otherwise, conflicts could be difficult to resolve. Oh, by the way, Mr. Ma, regarding the server setup, I'll find someone to handle it. There are many technical secrets involved, so I'd rather not have others know about them. As for daily maintenance, a skilled team is all that's needed. Fang Jueyu didn't want his technology to spread. I'll also handle the supercomputer situation. All right, I'll start preparing now. Okay, if there's anything, you can directly contact my personal assistant. If there are funding issues, it's no problem. Even if you need billions of US dollars, just give me a heads up. Ma Teng's mouth twitched uncontrollably. Since a few days ago, he had been relentlessly overwhelmed by Fang Jueyu's financial onslaught, and he still hadn't had a chance to fight back. Dealing with rich people was truly challenging. After greeting Zhuang Ying, the stock ownership in Ma Teng's hands was quickly clarified, thanks to Fang Jueyu's team's operation. Ma Teng's net worth skyrocketed to over 200 billion US dollars, even surpassing the number 1 on the Forbes list. Ha, Mr. Ma, congratulations, you're now the richest person in the world, Fang Jueyu laughed. Ma Teng gave Fang Jueyu a white eye, skeptical that Fang Jueyu had exhausted all his money by casually throwing out 200 billion US dollars to buy his shares, especially knowing that setting up servers would require billions more. He calculated that the wealth Fang Jueyu had revealed so far had already exceeded 400 billion US dollars, and it was all liquid assets, not fixed. Mr. Fang, you're joking with me. I can't believe your remaining liquid assets are less than mine. Even if my net worth exceeds 200 billion US dollars, it's still far from yours, right? Ha 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 ha, as long as you know, why say it out loud? Fang Jueyu patted his shoulder. Ma Teng was dumbfounded. He had just been speculating, but now that it was confirmed, it was undeniable. Fang Jueyu's wealth was beyond his imagination. As for Ma Teng's female assistant, she was now completely dazed. These two bosses casually talking about billions. Was this really okay? Did they not realize there was an ordinary person standing next to them? After signing a bunch of documents, Ma Teng and his assistant left. Fang Jueyu also began utilizing his resources to build the servers and supercomputers. All the source codes were stored in Xiaoyi's database, and with suitable hardware, his capabilities would easily allow him to complete everything. How should I contact the national people? Fang Jueyu scratched his head. While he had met the head once, he didn't have the head's contact information. Ding! At that moment, Fang Jueyu's phone suddenly buzzed. It was a message from Wang Kong. Damn you sly dog, you quietly acquired Tengsun. The matter just concluded. How did he know so quickly? Fang Jueyu quickly opened the website, and it turned out Ma Teng had just posted a message on Tengsun's official website, directly announcing the current equity distribution of Tengsun. Fang Jueyu became the largest shareholder with a 39.1% stake. Damn, he's causing trouble for me, Fang Jueyu cursed. All I did was play around with your game and you're doing this to me. Can't handle it. Before Fang Jueyu could check Weibo, the department head directly called him. Hello, Professor Zhu. You still remember I'm your professor? Zhu Shank began cursing from the other end of the phone. You little rascal, I was planning to intern at Tengsun for graduation. Not only didn't you help me, but you also acquired Tengsun's shares in a few days. Are you determined not to graduate properly? Professor Zhu, let me explain, it's not like that. Don't explain to me. Tomorrow, go intern at NetEase. If you acquire NetEase, you'll just have to deal with a delayed graduation. Zhu Shank hung up with a bang. Achoo! Almost simultaneously in the office of the chairman of NetEase, Ding Lei suddenly sneezed. Is it another damn player from Fantasy Westward Journey cursing me? In the past few months, under the joint efforts of Qi Dong and the old professors at Jiangnan University, the results of plant gene modification had been compiled, and they had successfully been published in the main journal of Nature. This research had immediately caused a sensation across the academic world, and they were even preparing for a Nobel Prize nomination in biology. During this time, Jiangnan University basked in its success. Just as Qi Dong finally found some time to rest, he suddenly received a call from Fang Jueyu. He chuckled, knowing this rascal never called without a reason. He'd heard that Fang Jueyu recently ruffled the feathers of their department chair. Was he calling for help? Hey little Fang, did you get into trouble again? Qi Dong said, treating this kid like his own junior. Fang Jueyu had contributed greatly to his research and provided ample funding. He was more affectionate to him than his own grandson. No way, Fang Jueyu said defensively. I didn't know you thought of me as someone who only causes trouble. Oh come on, don't pretend to be cute with me, Qi Dong laughed. I heard your department chair, old Zhuo, sent you for an internship at Tencent, and in just a few days you acquired so many of their stocks. Are you planning to buy NetEase next? Ha ha ha, teacher Qi, you knew about that, Fang Jueyu said sheepishly. I'm not planning to acquire NetEase at the moment, but NetEase music is a consideration. The damn copyright issues means I can't listen to many songs. If I buy it, I'll start by buying all those copyrights. Quit your smooth talk, Qi Dong exclaimed, though he couldn't help but think Fang Jueyu might actually be able to pull it off. If he could acquire half of Tencent, targeting NetEase didn't sound impossible. Every company that takes you on as an intern is going to have bad luck, Qi Dong said. Come on, what's up? I just finished up with the Nobel Prize matters and need to rest up for the awards. It's like this, teacher Qi. Can you help me reach out to the chief? Reach out to the chief? Why? Qi Dong asked curiously. Military? Qi Dong was bewildered. Didn't you just achieve a breakthrough in biology? How are you suddenly involved in military matters? This time, Qi Dong really couldn't figure out Fang Jueyu. Well, my research institutes cover a lot of areas, Fang Jueyu scratched his head. Next time I might come up with some new breakthroughs in energy or materials. Who knows? Just how much money do you have? As a scholar, Dong was well aware that research was a money-burning endeavor. It could easily take billions just to buy equipment and materials. Sometimes it's hard to even make a splash. Judging by Fang Jueyu's words, it seemed like he was dabbling in research across numerous fields. Indeed, Fang Jueyu understood that research was a costly business, but he didn't necessarily have to pursue it. The database in Zhao contained knowledge far beyond human civilization. To explore higher levels of understanding wasn't feasible on Earth. In other words, even if he wanted to pour money into research, he wouldn't have the opportunity. He could only channel his funds by turning research into practical applications. "Tell me, what have you cooked up this time?" Dong asked. "Oh, it's a VR system that can simulate human vision, touch, and hearing, immersing all senses in a virtual world. Currently, it can achieve over 80% realism," Fang Jueyu replied. "What?" Dong was startled. Though his main focus was biology, he kept up with international research trends. As far as he knew, no country in the world had reached this level of VR technology. To exaggerate a bit, if Fang Jueyu really achieved this, it would be like creating a new world in virtual reality. He immediately understood why Fang Jueyu said this technology held great importance for national military strategy. With such a system, warriors could project themselves onto a virtual battlefield, experiencing real warfare sensations, feeling pain, and conducting nearly 100% operational simulation training. Even if something unexpected happened, sacrifices made would be only virtual. Once such a force entered real modern warfare, the combat effectiveness would be unimaginable. After all, no matter how realistic a military exercise is, it's just an exercise and can't provide the true experience of war. Furthermore, the potential applications of this technology in medicine, education, and various industries were enormous. If the nation could master this technology, the benefits would be immeasurable. "Is it true?" "Of course it is," Fang Jueyu said. "Do you know why I bought Mr. Ma's shares?" "Why?" "I thought they had a great game, but I wanted to experience a more realistic virtual game, so I bought Mr. Ma's shares to modify it as I pleased." You, Dong became agitated. "You're squandering invaluable resources." If Fang Jueyu were in front of him, Dong would have grabbed his cane and smacked him on the head. Such important and meaningful technology, and he wanted to waste it on a pointless game. "And you bought shares just for a game. If you have too much money, why not just donate it to my lab? I need it." "You're going to be the death of me," Dong wheezed, unable to find his breath. "Teacher Chi, don't be mad. Could you help me reach out to the chief?" Fang Jueyu asked stubbornly. Fine. I'll do it, for heaven's sake." Dong understood the significance of this technology for the country and couldn't keep it off his mind. Maybe the chief would even make another visit to Jiangnan University. "Ha, thank you so much, Teacher Chi." Fang Jueyu laughed contentedly. "By the way, Teacher Chi, please tell the chief that if the country needs to build this system, I can fund the servers." "Didn't the last project already get underway? I've prepared $300 billion in funding, and we can immediately put funds into practical application." $300 billion. Dong nearly spat out his tea. Did he now speak the language of humans? As his research funding of tens of millions a year was hard enough to get from the president, Fang Jueyu casually mentioned $300 billion, also in US dollars. "Where on earth do you get all this money from? Teach me your ways," Dong said, aggrieved. Ha, better ask my parents then," Fang Jueyu chuckled. "One more thing, Teacher Chi. I'll donate $500 million in research funding to your project team in a bit, so don't be shy." "Who's shy with you?" Dong replied, his previous grievances dissipating. Now he wouldn't have to worry about project team operations before his full retirement. Although Dong did not have the authority to contact the leader directly, as an academician, he still managed to reach some government officials through the workstation and then report upward through them. "What? This little guy came up with a new technology again." Indeed, even the leader was taken by surprise upon hearing this news. Although a virtual device with 80% simulation sounded somewhat incredible, he was well aware that this young man had achieved a major breakthrough in the field of biology a few months ago. Making some achievements in information technology, while surprising, was not unfathomable. "Yes, and I heard that Fang has bought part of Ma Teng's company shares, aiming to apply this technology to virtual games." "Oh, really?" The leader was a person of great wisdom. He knew that Ma Teng was a genuine entrepreneur. The fact that he was willing to release these shares indicated how attractive this technology must be to him. If it weren't confirmed as real, would Ma Teng dare to gamble like this? It implied he likely had already witnessed the technology firsthand. In recent months, Huaxia had enjoyed a continuous stream of good news. First, Fang Jueyu's biotechnology brought hope to the country's desert control, and not long ago, the Gogh beast, lost overseas for over 100 years, returned to Huaxia, and Pakistan and other countries re-established and strengthened friendly relations with Huaxia. Today, Fang Jueyu brought him another good piece of news. This truly was a blessing for Huaxia. However, if the leader knew all this was related to Fang Jueyu, who knows what expression he would show. Leader, do you want to have a conversation with that young man named Fang Jueyu? No need, I will personally make another trip to Jiangnan City. The leader stood up from his desk. I want to see if the technology he talks about is really that amazing. What? The leader is coming again. Fang Jueyu received a call from Qi Dong early in the morning, and not only that, the leader also wanted to personally visit his home to experience his set of VR equipment. You have quite the influence. This is the second time the leader is coming because of you. Qi Dong said, you must handle this matter well. You must make the leader satisfied, or else I will have no face to approach the leader again in the future. Ha, teacher Qi, rest assured, my technology definitely has no problem. Fang Jueyu patted his chest and assured. However, since the leader was coming, Fang Jueyu could not just let Ma Teng experience it casually as he did last time. He asked Xiao Yi to quickly make a few helmets. Although the server had not been established yet, his supercomputer had no problem creating a small-scale simulation map. On the third day, Qi Dong brought the leader to Fang Jueyu's home. This time, the leader traveled very discreetly and secretively. Except for bringing along a secretary general, only 2 superpower users protected him, which was enough to ensure his safety, especially considering it was on Fang Jueyu's ground. If anything happened there, then Gogh was too negligent. Leader, you're here. Early in the morning, Fang Jueyu and Gogh Xinyu were waiting at the door for the leader. It was Gogh Xinyu's first time meeting the leader in person, so it was inevitable for her to feel a bit tense. She never imagined she would have the chance to face the leader one day. Young man, you're up quite early. The leader still had the same approachable demeanor. Despite possessing immense authority, he did not project an overwhelming sense of pressure. Is this where you live? Even the leader was slightly amazed at Fang Jueyu's luxurious villa. Yes. It seems your family is not ordinary either, the leader laughed. He was not unwilling to investigate Fang Jueyu's family background, but since everything Fang Jueyu was doing was benefiting the country, he did not wish to dishearten him. Leader, let me take you inside to see the equipment first, Fang Jueyu said. All right. This time, Fang Jueyu made some improvements to that room. Although the helmets hadn't changed much, the comfort of the seats was greatly enhanced, allowing one to play for several hours in the virtual world without feeling tired or uncomfortable. Leader, would you like to try it first? Fang Jueyu asked. Leader, let us two try it first. The leader's 2 bodyguards stepped forward first. That's fine. Fang Jueyu did not get upset. They were concerned about the leader's safety, which was natural. After all, no one knew if the equipment might have any issues. I'll set up a battlefield map for you too. Fang Jueyu clicked a few times on the computer, and soon the optical cables of the 2 helmets lit up. The 2 bodyguards put on the helmets, and moments later, they were stunned by the scene in front of them. 5 minutes later, the 2 bodyguards removed the helmets, still overwhelmed with shock. In this virtual world, every experience was almost indistinguishable from the real world, and they were even able to deploy their superpowers. They had a fierce battle on that battlefield, and the extent of destruction around them was modeled exactly based on reality, with injuries and death feeling incredibly real. Leader, no issues. The equipment indeed has the effect he mentioned, the 2 reported. Is it really that amazing? Then I must try it too. Both the leader and Qi Dong were eager to put on the helmets. Everything proceeded exceptionally smoothly. Fang Jueyu's set of equipment led the forefront of technology, achieving such realistic sensory perception that other countries might not create something similar even in another decade. After all, neural sensing technology was only at a nascent stage in this era. Fang, are you really willing to share this technology with the country? The leader asked, not needing much time to realize the importance and strategic significance of this technology. Of course, it's my honor to contribute to the country. Great. The leader was immensely gratified. After discussing with the Secretary General beside him, the leader said to Fang Jueyu, "The country is willing to buy this technology for 50 billion. What do you think?" What? Fang Jueyu was so startled that he trembled. He already found it inconvenient to have so much money, so why was the leader offering him more? "What's wrong? Not enough," the leader said. "Then I'll make the decision to add another 10 billion. "No, leader." Fang Jueyu almost knelt to grasp the leader's leg, crying, "Leader, I don't want money. I'm not interested in money at all." What does this mean? The leader was bewildered by Fang Jueyu's reaction. Even if the technology sold for a mere few hundred billion, the country would gain a lot. Why did Fang Jueyu seem so distressed? "Leader, I mean I'm willing to give this technology to the country. Please, don't pay me," Fang Jueyu pleaded. "If necessary, I'm willing to fund the construction of a large-scale war simulation server for the country." Everyone present was dumbfounded. Who would refuse money? Was Fang Jueyu so wealthy he had nowhere to spend it? "How could that be? The country already benefits greatly from your technology, and we can't take your money," the leader said firmly. "Leader, I'm begging you, let me spend some money. If you don't agree, I won't tell you next time I develop something good." The leader was at once amused and exasperated by Fang Jueyu. As for Qi Dong beside him, his eyes were already showing almost murderous glints. "I've seen people beg for money, but I've never seen anyone beg to give money away." The chief, experienced as he was, had never encountered such an oddity as Fang Jueyu before. But judging from his demeanor, it was clear he wasn't joking. After confirming multiple times, the chief decided to accept Fang Jueyu's goodwill. Fang Jueyu handed over the prepared source code to the chairman. This particular source code wasn't encrypted, while the one used in that game was encrypted. As long as he didn't want to, no one could access the core code of this technology. As for those financial transactions, Fang Jueyu eagerly transferred the funds. Acquiring Ma Teng's shares cost 200 billion US dollars. Constructing the servers cost over 100 billion US dollars. And this time he spent over 300 billion US dollars. In just a few days, Fang Jueyu spent more than 600 billion US dollars, and his available funds finally dwindled to less than 200 billion US dollars. When Fang Jueyu saw this thrilling string of numbers, he couldn't help but shed tears of joy. After much effort, he had finally completed a significant part of this mission. During the acquisition of Ma Teng's shares a few days ago, Fang Jueyu made a big splash, greatly increasing the completion of his first stage permission mission. Now, the completion rate was as high as 77%. Zhao, submit the large task. The previous incident with Gogh still left a shadow in his heart, and he was afraid that an unexpected situation might conjure up a few billion US dollars again, wasting all his recent hard efforts to spend money. Evaluating the task, completion rate 69.7%, reward first stage permission mission completion 23.23%. First stage mission completed, now unlocking level 1 permissions. Holy crap, Fang Jueyu cheered. He couldn't believe his luck at just barely completing the permission unlock task for the first stage. Ha 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 ha, a burst of laughter like that of a fool suddenly came from the villa. Quick, Zhao, tell me, what features does this level 1 permission unlock? Fang Jueyu asked impatiently. There's quite a lot. The first 3 chapters of the potential guiding technique are fully unlocked, and your ancestors have left many aids for practicing the guiding technique, which will surely surprise you. Fantastic! Fang Jueyu clenched his fist, as from now on he would no longer have to rely on Gogh all the time. He could handle it himself from now on. And can I contact my parents now? Of course you can. I left a subsystem in each host. Although it only has 1/10 of my functionality, it's still powerful enough. I can contact those subsystems anytime. Does that mean I can contact my grandfather, my grandfather's grandfather, and all my ancestors? Exactly, Zhao said. Host, you might not know, but all the hosts from 99 generations ago are still alive and well. What? They're all still alive? Fang Jueyu was shocked. If anyone were to see their ancestors from 100 generations ago one day, they'd probably be too scared to sleep, right? How is this strange? Zhao scoffed. Once you've trained to the 3rd chapter of the potential guiding technique and become a divine ability user, your lifespan will be extraordinarily long. Living past 2,000 years is a breeze. The potential guiding technique has 9 chapters in total, and theoretically, once all 9 are mastered, you can even achieve infinite life. My first host nearly mastered the 7th chapter and lived for hundreds of thousands of years without issue. Amazing. No adjective could match the straightforwardness of those 2 words. Xiaoyi helped me contact my parents. It's been months and I really miss them. Sure, but it might take a few minutes, so in the meantime, you can check out the features unlocked by Level 1 permission. Xiaoyi directly uploaded a stream of information into Fang Jueyu's brain. There were indeed numerous permissions at this stage. Besides the potential guiding technique, there was a wealth of resources and even a lot of high-tech information. Previously, Fang Jueyu had to beg for these from his ancestors, but now the databases of the first few levels of civilizations were fully unlocked. Any one of these items could change the world, and making a fortune was only a matter of time. No wonder the Fang family's ancestors could easily accumulate such a vast enterprise. However, the potential guiding technique was the most valuable. It was a culmination of countless intelligent civilizations' wisdom, capable of fundamentally changing organisms for rapid evolution and enhancement. The universe was filled with an invisible energy known as cosmic source energy in the potential guiding technique. Ordinary humans couldn't utilize this energy, but it was omnipresent. Those deemed superpower users were modified by cosmic source energy either innately or through acquired means, thus gaining extraordinary capabilities. Hidden elementers and source energy users differed, as they autonomously absorbed cosmic source energy, strengthening their genes and unlocking tremendous power, which was why the disparity in power between superpower users and hidden elementers was so vast. Under normal circumstances, feeling the existence of cosmic source energy was immensely challenging for a person, but that applied only to ordinary people. The Fang family's ancestors had long resolved this issue. Is it this red pill? In Fang Jueyu's private space was now a mountain of pills accumulated by his ancestors over millennia. The red pill, called the Gathering Energy Pill, gathered vast amounts of cosmic source energy nearby. Although it couldn't be directly absorbed, it allowed one to perceive its presence more easily and intuitively. Fang Jueyu swallowed it in one gulp, and the pill dissolved in his stomach, sending a warm sensation throughout his body, especially his eyes, which suddenly emitted a peculiar purple glow. Is this the cosmic source energy? Fang Jueyu observed an array of dark purple light dots around him, akin to countless specks of dust floating nearby. The method for practicing the potential guiding technique was now automatically stored in Fang Jueyu's brain, and he began trying to absorb these dark purple light dots following this method. When the first light dot began merging with his cells, an incredibly euphoric sensation nearly sent Fang Jueyu into a blissful trance. It was like a leap in the level of life itself. Unknowingly, he entered a profound mystical state, and his body grew stronger in a manner imperceptible to the naked eye. Hey, furry son, what are you doing, ignoring us now? Xiaoyi had somehow already connected to the subsystem left with Fang Jueyu, and a holographic projection appeared before Fang Jueyu. These were 2 figures Fang Jueyu was deeply familiar with, his father Fang Jueyu and his mother Cao Lan. They were on a fascinating planet, one full of futuristic vibes, and both Fang Jueyu and Cao Lan wore clothes quite different from Earth's style. What are you yelling about? Try yelling at my son again and see what happens. Cao Lan smacked Fang Jueyu on the head. Don't you see our son is practicing the potential guiding technique? If you wake him and something happens, I swear I'll beat you. Fang Jueyu clutched his head with a look of grievance, as his status in this household seemed to progressively decline. Let's wait, we're in no hurry. But the owner of Scatter Planet invited us to dinner tonight, Fang Jueyu said. Let him wait. 2/3 of their planet's industries belong to our Fang family. If he dares to complain, we'll cut off their energy imports from other planets next year. When Fang Jueyu awoke from that half-asleep, half-awake state, almost half a day had passed. He slowly opened his eyes, and in that moment it felt as if thousands of rays of light burst forth. He was incredulous as he felt the immense power that had appeared out of nowhere within his body. The sheer force seemed to be 3 or 4 times greater than before, and he had only practiced for less than half a day. Moreover, he felt a strange energy flowing within him, ready to be concentrated anywhere he wanted at any moment. This is biological current. Fang Jueyu had once relied on Xiaoyi to activate biological current while helping Yu Shu swallow some pills, but compared to the minor effects back then, the intensity now was at least dozens of times greater. Host, there is no need to be too surprised. This biological current is merely the foundational stage, Xiaoyi said. Right now, you don't even count as a hidden elementer. At best, you're equivalent to a regular sea-level superpower user. Once the biological current in your body becomes strong enough, you'll be able to begin concentrating cosmic source power. At that point, you'll truly be a hidden elementer. Given your speed, it should only take less than half a year. So fast. Fang Jueyu was not an ungrateful person. A hidden elementer could easily overpower any SSS-level superpower user, and how much time and resources are required to cultivate an SSS-level superpower user. Not everyone progresses this quickly, Xiaoyu said. See that pile of pills over there? These were accumulated by your ancestors, enough to save you a huge amount of time. Otherwise, you'd likely need several years of practice. Tusk, I love the feeling of being a Fu Beidai. Fang Jueyu just realized that being a Fu Beidai meant more than inheriting billions. It was the mountain of resources that were the true treasures. By the way, host, I've already contacted the previous generation's host. Xiaoyu then projected the scene from Fang Hua and the other's side. Fang Hua and Cao Lan were sitting by the edge of a pink ocean, seemingly having dinner with some food Fang Jueyu had never seen before on the table. And vaguely, there were peculiar creatures walking around in the background. Still eating? Stop eating. Our son has woken up. Cao Lan slapped the utensils out of Fang Hui's hands. Dad, Mom. Fang Jueyu showed a rare expression, one of excitement mixed with longing. Yo, son, you're awake. Fang Hui wiped his hands carelessly. Long time no see, how have you been lately? I originally thought it'd take you a year to unlock this level of authorization. You're even better at spending money than we imagined. This task was set by Fang Hui, so he naturally knew what conditions were needed to unlock the authorization. Fang Jueyu suddenly had a dark line on his forehead. What did they mean by spending more money than imagined? He couldn't even find places to spend his money anymore, okay. He wanted to buy large companies, only to find out they were all his. Wanted to buy some islands, only to realize Fang Hui had already bought them. Wanted to spend money on research, but sorry, Xiaoyu's database contained things beyond his imagination. Finally threw some money around at an auction, only to encounter a few spendthrifts. What seemed simple to others was surprisingly difficult to implement. Dad, Mom, where are you now? Have you found Grandpa, Grandma, and Grandma's family? Fang Jueyu asked. Oh, we found them, Fang Hui said. They're all doing well. The last time we couldn't contact them was because they were developing a black hole with several planets in business partnerships. The signal isn't great inside a black hole. Fang Jueyu, could you please say something I can understand? He knew what a black hole was, but what the heck is developing a black hole? And a black hole has no signal. How did you get in? And can you come back out? What do you mean by business partnership planets? Has the Fang family's business reached the universe? He felt like a fool at the moment. So where are you now? Oh son, let me tell you, this place is beautiful. Cao Lan seized the camera. This is a private planet codenamed M66. I fell in love at first sight. The sky here is pink, and the ocean is pink. It's just so beautiful. Private planet. Fang Jueyu twitched the corner of his mouth, thinking he was used to private jets, private islands, private gold mines, and diamond mines, only to find his parents were already playing with private planets. Yeah, it was cheap, only cost a few million Cosmos credits, and we bought the planet. It'd be great for vacations and holidays in the future, Fang Hui said. What in the world are Cosmos credits? Fang Jueyu felt like all of this was touching a knowledge-blind spot for him. Oh, you don't know yet, Fang Hui said. Over these several thousand years, our Fang family has developed some industries within the civilizations outside Earth. The Cosmos credits are the currency circulating in the universe, usable by any civilization within the Cosmic Alliance. What the heck, doing business across the universe, Fang Jueyu blurted out. But on second thought, it seemed not entirely impossible. The entire universe's civilizations are divided into 7 levels, and the Earth he lived on hadn't even reached the first, while Xiaoyu's creators are a top-level civilization. With such an intelligent system, where wouldn't he thrive? It seemed that even out of Earth, he could carve out a place in the universe. Ha ha ha, Xiaoyu, your ancestors set the foundation long ago, Cao Lan chuckled. Now, our family has industries in 27 star domains, thousands of galaxies, and tens of thousands of intelligent planets. Yeah, son, once you've finished practicing the 3rd chapter of the guiding technique, you can come out and find us. I don't know about other places, but feel free to roam around near the Milky Way, Fang Hui said. Oh son, Just now your dad sent you a package back to Earth. We bought some interesting stuff for you. What? A package? Fang Jueyu felt his face almost paralyzing. Earth has never contacted any extraterrestrial civilization, yet a package can be delivered here. All right, son, we have some banquets to attend. Fang Jueyu wiped his mouth. Given the distance from Earth, it should reach you in at most a month. Enjoy yourself on Earth, play for a few decades, and come find us when you have a son, ha ha ha. Xiaoyu, Mom and Dad are heading off, let's keep in touch. Okay. Fang Jueyu stepped out onto the balcony and took a deep breath. He originally thought he was just a rich man on Earth, not expecting his ancestors to be this formidable, having established such a territory beyond Earth. I wonder what good things Mom and Dad sent me. Alas, all this time, I truly had no idea how wealthy my family really was. Hurry up, it's starting, are you ready? Ready. Fang Jueyu hurriedly pushed a small cart into the private cinema in the villa. Today was the League of Legends World Championship Finals, and Huaxia's ZZ team would have a legendary showdown with the GE team from Europe and America and France. In previous World Finals, Fang Jueyu watched with his 3 roommates crowded in front of a computer screen, and this year was no exception, except for the change of venue. Old Fang, isn't this popcorn a bit over the top? Cheng Kai pointed to 4 nearly 1-meter-high paper buckets. What's over the top about it? When I used to go to the movies, a small bucket wasn't enough and buying too much made me feel guilty. Now that I have money, why not eat more popcorn? Fang Jueyu grabbed a handful and stuffed it into his mouth. And this isn't just any popcorn. You might not find this anywhere else. What did you grow this popcorn with? 82 laughing, Fu Jun joked, or is your popcorn made of gold? Pretty much, Fang Jueyu said. The salt used for this popcorn is imported from Males Island, the world's most famous salt, costing $10 per pound. Besides that, it includes the world's best butter and vanilla extract made from Madagascar vanilla pods. Are you crazy? Who makes popcorn sound so extravagant? I'm not done, Fang Jueyu continued. This stuff even uses gold, see? The surface is coated with 23K edible gold leaf. Show off, the 3 of them simultaneously flipped the bird at Fang Jueyu. But with this stuff being so expensive, they weren't going to let it go to waste, and soon the room was filled with the rustling sound of them munching. Old Fang, did you catch last week's match? It was fantastic. Fu Jun started animatedly. We used to get crushed by Korean teams in strategy, and this year we completely dominated them in all 3 games. Yeah, we suppressed them from start to finish. That tight rhythm was suffocating, like the ZZ team knew exactly what the STT team was going to do at every moment. It was ruthless. Fang Jueyu smiled slightly. With Xiaoya's strategic guidance, wasn't that an easy task? Unfortunately, he was busy dealing with Ladinic family matters and couldn't witness STT getting schooled. Oh, and that guy Jin Zheng has to cosplay as a female hero to cheer for our ZZ team today. I wonder if he's going to make good on his promise. Fang Jueyu was sometimes forgetful, but he would never forget this kind of thing. There's a special performance today, Fang Jueyu said. I ran into STT team with Wang Kong in the Kingdom of Seroth and bet with them. If they lost, their coach, Jin Zheng, would have to cosplay as a woman and cheer for ZZ. Really? Isn't that going to be utterly embarrassing for them back in Korea? Ha ha ha. Cheng Kai had always had some grudges against that country, so he was more than thrilled. But it looks like that guy's trying to weasel out of it. Fang Jueyu's cinema was unlike the online live streams. He had someone dedicated to streaming the match live for him. Fang Jueyu picked up a communicator nearby. Switch the screen to the spectator seats for me. The movie screen immediately shifted view, switching to the spectator area below. Fang Jueyu saw several familiar faces. Although many teams' competitions were over, they still came to watch this final. The STT team members were in one of the sections, but there was no sign of Jin Zheng. Hey, old Wang, Fang Jueyu dialed Wang Kong's number. Where's that punk Jin Zheng? Don't get me started, I'm pissed just talking about it. Wang Kong's indignant voice came from the other end. I just went to their team to find him, and that dog of a man disappeared. After losing the match, Jin Zheng never intended to fulfill the bet. He knew Wang Kong but not Fang Jueyu. He knew Wang Kong had considerable clout in Huaxia, but this was abroad, and they only had a verbal bet, none of it in writing. Without evidence, what could Wang Kong do to him? But feeling guilty, Jin Zheng took the team to the match venue and then directly hid in the team's hotel, putting on a facade of being unbothered. Dare to back out on a bet with me. You can't possibly be disregarding me like this, Fang Jueyu said indignantly. Well, yeah, maybe he doesn't even know who you are. He might think you're just a minor substitute for ZZ Team, so why would he be afraid? Fine, he's done for. Fang Jueyu angrily hung up the phone. Old Fang, someone stood you up. The three of them grinned mischievously at him. Who knew you'd get slapped in the face too, ha ha ha. Bastards, Fang Jueyu growled through clenched teeth. Give me a few minutes, and I guarantee this guy will be showing up in Ari's outfit soon enough. Zio-Yi, help me figure out what resources I can use in Korea. In the hotel, Jin Zhang was leisurely drinking, waiting for the game to start, not giving a second thought to his bet with Fang Jueyu. Coach, the boss of the ZZ team is looking for you again, reported an STT team member. It's all right, they don't know where I am anyway, Jin Zhang said with his legs crossed. It's really their fault for not signing a contract for such a big bet. Even if we're in the wrong, they have no evidence. What can they do to me? Focus on today's game. We must win next year's mid-season tournament and avenge this defeat. Yes, coach, will study it closely. Just as Jin Zhang put down his phone, it rang again. He answered it impatiently. Didn't I say not to bother me unless it's important? Don't bother about those Huaxia folks, Coach Jin, it's me, Bai Xingzhang. BB boss? Jin Zhang's hand almost shook at the phone. Bai Xingzhang wasn't just the boss of the STT club. He controlled a substantial entertainment group, one of the top in all of Korea. Sorry, boss, I thought it was the brats from the team. Boss, we were overconfident this time, but next season we'll have the right mindset to win back the trophy. Jin Zhang thought Bai Xingzhang was here to hold him accountable for the match. I'm asking if you had a bet with a Huaxia person. Truth be told, Bai Xingzhang wasn't overly concerned with the outcome of the match. The entire STT club didn't rely solely on the League of Legends. They had many ways to profit and didn't need this one championship to bring in gains. How did you know? Jin Zhang trembled all over. Only the two parties involved and their teams knew about this. There was no reason for this to reach the big boss's ears. I'm telling you, if you've lost the bet, then you need to follow through. I'm giving you only one chance, don't make me call a second time. Jin Zhang felt as if a massive stone had dropped into his heart. Who was Bai Xingzhang? To outsiders, he was merely a genuine entrepreneur, just the head of an entertainment group, but only a few knew that a part of Bai Xingzhang's business was of an unsavory nature. Once, a fairly large corporation had a conflict with Bai Xingzhang's group, and shortly after, a notorious major incident occurred, and it was said that Bai Xingzhang was behind it. Jin Zhang couldn't understand why Bai Xingzhang was getting involved in such a matter, but from his tone, it was clear that if he didn't follow Bai Xingzhang's instructions, there would be severe consequences. However, wearing a female hero's outfit to cheer for the ZZ team at the finals would be humiliating not only to Jin Zhang, but also to their nation, South Korea. By the time he returned, STT fans would eat him alive. But boss, this bet could have negative repercussions, Jin Zhang stammered. You realize it could have a negative impact. Bai Xingzhang's suppressed anger finally erupted. If you knew it could be bad, why did you make the bet in the first place? Do you really trust those useless folks under you so much? I'm telling you, this order came directly from the Minister of Culture himself, Bai Xingzhang said. Do you think I have the time to deal with your nonsense? How could that be? Jin Zhang looked incredulous. It was already surreal that Bai Xingzhang got involved, but how did the Minister of Culture get dragged into this? He, a minister managing the nation's cultural affairs, shouldn't have time to meddle with a small team's coach. I'm telling you, you have no other choice. If you don't handle this well, our entire group will go down because of your stupidity, and I'll spend my life in jail. If I fall, don't expect a good life for yourself either. The threat in Bai Xingzhang's tone was unmistakable. What Bai Xingzhang didn't know was that even the Minister of Culture was under enormous pressure to call him. An incident that simple, Fang Jueyu just made a single call to their country's prime minister, and that was it. In 1997, South Korea experienced a severe economic crisis. Every economic crisis is both a danger and an opportunity. The industries under the Fang family rapidly invaded South Korea's various sectors, even holding many of their national economic lifelines. Thanks to the funds flowing in from the Fang family, South Korea's economy gradually stabilized, but the presence of the Fang family loomed in every industry and field. The implications of this were self-evident. Eat jail food. Jin Zhang was already a bit bewildered. He knew Bai Xingjiang's capabilities, who could be considered quite powerful. To think that such a small bet could land him in prison. Who was trying to deal with him? Could it be the owner of ZZ Team, Wang Kong? But even if he was wealthy, it shouldn't be enough to make their nation's Minister of Culture personally warn him, right? From now on, you have no connection with the STT team. Bai Xingjiang's statement marked the end of his coaching career. Getting expelled from the STT team would be a stain on his life, and no team would risk offending Bai Xingjiang to take him in. You have 1 hour to deliver on your lost bet, otherwise you know the consequences. Clap. After saying the final words, Bai Xingjiang directly hung up the phone. It's over. Jin Zhengzhi collapsed on the sofa, not realizing when the wine glass in his hand fell to the ground, spilling red wine everywhere. Now, let's welcome the two teams of the finals onto the stage. At precisely 8 in the evening, the finals officially began, and the entire arena echoed with the names of the ZZ team and the GE team. Many fans from Huaxia spontaneously gathered at the finals scene to ensure that, at least in spirit, they wouldn't lose to the opponent at an away game. Wah! At this moment, a sudden uproar of shouting erupted from the scene, as a camera captured a figure just stepping into the arena. It was a cosplayer dressed as the female hero Ari from League of Legends, holding the ZZ Team flag and awkwardly chanting, "Go ZZ Team" in broken Huaxia. Oh my god, isn't that Coach Jin? The STT team members immediately recognized Jin Zhengzhi, who was well known across the industry. Even the coaches from other teams were familiar with him. In an instant, the STT team members felt countless eyes cast upon them. Their faces turned red with embarrassment, wishing they could hide their heads under their shirts. Look, isn't that the STT team's coach, Jin Zhengzhi? Why is he dressed like that? And cheering for ZZ. Haha, look at that Ari, there's leg hair, I'm dying of laughter. This is so embarrassing. Did he lose his mind after losing to the ZZ team? If I were him, I'd never show my face again. Who wouldn't say so? Director, give him a close-up, Fang Jueyu promptly commanded. The broadcasting of this match worldwide was handled by Fang Jueyu's media company. If he wanted to highlight something, all it took was a word. The global broadcast suddenly showcased that peculiar scene. The once prestigious coach Jin, who had lifted the trophy multiple times at World Championships, now looked like this. Oh dear, I'm dying of laughter. Holy crap, this is brutal. Fang Jueyu, what good does it do you to laugh me to death, ha ha ha. In the private theater, Fang Jueyu and others were already laughing so hard they were rolling on the floor. Jin Zhengzhi was naturally short, whereas Ari was a hero with a very slender figure, making the outfit look terribly mismatched on him. Furthermore, Jin Zhengzhi didn't have a proper makeup artist. His stubbly face made him unbearable to look at. It's over, I can't love the hero Ari anymore. Me neither. I swear, I'll never play her again, as I'm afraid I'll think of that disgusting face. Old Fang, you're a devil. The opening of the finals ended with farce. Jin Zhengzhi sneaked away after the match started. He realized that upon returning, only a human tragedy awaited him, but all of this was his own doing. Had he not challenged the ZZ team at the outset, he wouldn't have placed a reckless bet with Fang Jueyu. But alas, there's no if in this world. The finals were exceptionally thrilling, though one-sided, with the GE team unable to put up a fight against the well-prepared ZZ team. Almost every match saw over 20 kills. If one were to describe it in 4 words, it would be, holy crap, ruthless. On the world stage, the ZZ team uplifted the champion's trophy, signaling the end of the ZTT dynasty and marking Huaxia's rise to the pinnacle of esports. When they 3-0 dismantled the GE team's base, the dorms of every university in Huaxia erupted into a deafening roar. ZZ rocks.